Chris Sewall here, baseball card collector, investor, dealer, in that order. Welcome everyone. I recently purchased an absolutely beautiful 1975 Topps baseball high grade complete set from a viewer of the channel who wanted to remain anonymous, but thank you to that person for selling me your incredible set. The 1975 Topps set's maybe the most popular set from the 70s, or I feel like if I ask people what's your favorite set from the 70s, that's the most common answer. It's just a very, very colorful set, a lot of key rookies in it, but this set is absolute fire, as the kids say. Over 200 of the cards are graded by PSA, and they're all graded either an 8 or a 9, and most of the key cards are graded as well. So yeah, we'll go over the set in the video here. I'll explain what I paid and what my plans for it are. But before we jump in, just want to remind everyone that my boy Jeremy Donson, the Texas Snowman's Auction House, CIA Collector Investor Auctions, ends tomorrow night, Sunday night. So still plenty of time to get in and bid. Actually, you could probably still register in time to bid if you did so today. But yeah, tons of great stuff in the auction as always. Highly recommend it, and yeah, go check it out for yourself. Link is in the description below. But okay, let's check out this 1975 Topps complete set. And there's 660 cards in the complete set, and this included 204 graded cards. So 400 and some odd raw cards. The raw cards are all in sleeves and top loaders. The two boxes on the left, there's card number 1, Hank Aaron highlight. And yeah, they're in numerical order. And the raw cards were basically near mint. There's a Raleigh Fingers Hall of Famer. The raw cards are more or less near mint across the board. There's Dave Parker, second year, recent Hall of Fame inductee. But most of the key cards, like I said, were graded. Now I'll go through the raw cards at some point closely and check to see if I think any should be graded today. But chances are it won't be any or very few, and that's because PSA has gotten a lot stricter, and they've gotten more expensive since back when these were originally graded. So the numbers just don't work out so as much with like 75 Topps commons as they used to. But what I'll probably do with the raw cards is sell them all as a lot on eBay, like a starter set. 450 plus cards, different cards for the set, and sell it all as one lot. And part of me wanted to complete the set as a graded set. I mean, it's such an impressive set that got put together here, but that's a lot of money and a lot of time, and not something that would be anywhere near the top of my priority list. So not something I'm gonna not a project I'm gonna take on. But it was appealing, for sure. But the real value in this set is, of course, the graded cards. And like I said, all the cards are 8s and 9s. And there was a Nolan Ryan highlight in an 8. Here's a Nolan Ryan highlight in a PSA 9. It's a $100 plus card. And even some of the commons in 9s, if they're low enough pop, can have quite a bit of value. Occasionally 8s, but most 8s, won't have a lot of value if they're commons. But here's a Thurman Munson in a PSA 9. This is a $400 plus card, very low pop. The 75s, are a little more condition sensitive than other years because of the colored borders. It just makes it a little more susceptible to chipping and things like that. There's a Burt Bly 11. There's Ron Santo. Those are Hall of Famers. I think the Ron Santo was a 9. There's a Brooks Robinson in an 8. Fergie Jenkins. There's a Dave Winfield in a 9. The Dave Winfield, that's actually second year, and one of the more valuable cards in the collection, as the Winfield is worth over $500. I think comps on it was about $550. And the Winfield in sort of like raw mid-grade condition is maybe a $10 card or so, but because of the set registry and the pop report, there's Mike Schmidt is a PSA 8. It's probably a $100 plus card. Because of the set registry and the pop report, there are a lot of set collectors out there who want to get the entire set graded. Carlton Fisk in an 8, and they're willing to pay up for these high-grade copies. Willie Stargell in a 9 is probably a $200 plus card or so, because there's just not a lot of copies of them that exist in 8s and 9s, so they're willing to pay up for it. It adds to their set registry score. They can see from the pop how rare cards are, and a lot of people will say, "Oh, that's the PSA set registry is stupid," and I don't really use it, but everyone I know who uses it says it's really, really fun, and it makes the collecting aspect of like putting a set together a lot of fun and a lot really enjoyable and a lot sort of easier to track. There's Bob Gibson in an 8, but yeah, because of that, the set registry and pop report, a $10 Dave Winfield card can become a $500 plus card in super high grade because that creates the demand for it. Joe Morgan in a 9, I don't know what that's worth. Probably a couple $100 would be my guess, although I don't know off the top of my head. But yeah, any sort of Hall of Famer in a 9. There's Steve Carlton in an 8. Is going to have quite a bit of value because there's just not going to be a lot of them out there. Or at least there's more collectors who want these cards in these grades than there are copies that exist. So the demand outweighs the supply, and values can be more than it might seem like they should be. This is a really cool subset that they did in 1975. I really like this set. It's like the MVPs through the years. There's Mickey Mantle and Hank Aaron, both the 1957 MVPs. And they would put like the card of the year, the Topps card of the year of that player, the year they won the MVP. So like 63 Topps, Sandy Koufax, and Elston Howard are shown on the card. That was a really cool subset. I like it. And there's a lot of great names here. 64 Brooks Robinson, 66 Clemente and Frank Robinson. There's Carl Yastrzemski and Bob Gibson, Harmon Killebrew and Willie McCovey in 69, Johnny Bench and Dick Allen in 72. And yeah, you just get a lot of like sort of history behind it. I like that. 73 MVPs were Reggie Jackson and Pete Rose. I think most of those were in 8s. There's Don Sutton in a 9. And you may have noticed the PSA labels are all older labels. Like these were all graded many, many years ago. Here's Robin Yount rookie. There's, I think I said at the beginning, 4 Hall of Fame rookie cards in this set. Robin Yount is the first we've encountered. This is actually a really, really nice 8. With older PSA labels, there's times when, because they're not as strict, or they weren't as strict back then. So there's times when you look at a card and you're like, that shouldn't be an 8. But the Robin Yount, I remember in particular, was a solid 8. And in an 8, it's about a $400 card or so. Here's the most valuable card in the set, and that's George Brett, the second Hall of Fame rookie we've run into. This one also in a PSA 8, and this is about a $700 card or so in a PSA 8. And again, another one where, you're concerned when you know that the PSA label is much older, and it's like, ooh, it's an 8 back. It was an 8 back then. Would it be a 7 today? And there are definitely cards in this collection where that was the case. But with the Yount and the Brett, I thought the grades were good. Jim Hunter, Catfish Hunter in a PSA 9. Here's Johnny Bench in a PSA 8. And just a really impressive collection here. You got to give props to the person who put this together. And, I buy collections of all shapes and sizes. And here's Carl Yastrzemski in a 9. This was when I remember this would not get a 9 today. It's a little bit off-centered. It's got a couple really lightly tipped corners. This would definitely not get a 9 today. 8 at best, but, it's in the PSA 9 holder where it will certainly stay. But Reggie Jackson in an 8. But yeah, I buy collections of all shapes and sizes, and there's something to be said for like the mishmash collection that's all over the place, and those are just really fun, right? You never know what the next card is going to be. You can find hidden treasures, and it's all sorts of goodies like that. But there's also something to really be said about a collection like this. Here's Nolan Ryan, league leaders in an 8, Nolan Ryan and Steve Carlton, where this was clearly a true collector who had a very, very targeted goal, and was very passionate about their collection, and put it together over time as a labor of love, and really, here's Pete Rose in an 8. It's probably $100 a card. Is probably an expert in what they were chasing, and really, really focused. And, as a collector at heart, which is what I am, I don't really have a lot of collector habits today, but as a collector at heart, this just sort of thing really registers with me, as you can see the passion that went into it. There's Jim Palmer in a 9. This was actually a really expensive card. Much more expensive than I would have thought. It's like a $500 card. I think it just had a really, really low pop count. But yeah, just to sort of finish the thought, I just have I have a lot of respect for this collection and collections like it, where you can see a collector who put in, who had a lot of passion for what they were doing. Tom Seaver in an 8, and just wanted to sort of, state that here. I paid $11,000 for the set, and I don't think it would do that well if you sold it as a set, like ran it in an auction at a set. I don't think it would fetch much more than $11,000. Here's Willie McCovey in an 8, and that's because it's only partially graded. Like if the entire set was graded, it would get a lot of sort of bonus points for that. But given that it's only partially graded, a future buyer would need to sort of continue the process to get it to where somebody's going to want it. Here's Nolan Ryan in an 8. This is I think about a $600 card, one of the more valuable cards in the set. But I paid $11,000 in it, and I calculated the breakup value, like if you sold every card one at a time, and I calculated $11,000 to be about 70% of the total breakup value. So the negotiation was real easy. I just made that offer, and the seller accepted. Here's Lou Brock in an 8. And, at 70%, I'll make some profit even after seller fees are factored in. But, I haven't actually fully decided how I'm going to sell this just yet. I could just auction every graded card one at a time, but that will probably not yield full value. So I probably will not do that. I might auction some of the cheaper cards. I might lot some up for other sort of set collectors to build. Like, imagine a listing where there's like 50 1975 Topps cards, all PSA 9. Like that would be a great lot for somebody else who's putting this set together in high grade to buy and look at. So I might make some lots like that. And on some of the higher dollar items, I'll probably price them as singles and see if I can get, full value or maybe even a tad over full value. Here's the third Hall of Fame rookie in the collection, Jim Rice rookie. It's a PSA 8. And the fourth Hall of Fame rookie is coming up right here, Gary Carter, also in a PSA 8. I think both of these are like $100 or so in PSA 8s. Yeah, Jim Rice and Gary Carter. There's also two other notable rookies in this like 4-player rookie series. Fred Lynn here, PSA 8. This one's not a particularly expensive card, but Fred Lynn had a solid career. And this one here, Keith Hernandez rookie. Also, Phil Garner was a notable manager, but Keith Hernandez is the big name on this. This is a PSA 9 and a pretty expensive card in a PSA 9. I think it's like $500 type of thing, or so, somewhere in there. But yeah, sort of rounding out the set, getting towards the end here. Here's Harmon Killebrew, another Hall of Famer, in a 9. Here's a checklist in an 8. Couple more commons, and then finish off with Hank Aaron, who is number 1 card in the set, and number 660, first and last. And this Hank Aaron's a PSA near mint 8. But that's it. Thank you everyone for watching, and thank you again to the seller for selling me a really impressive set here. Hope everybody enjoyed, and have a great rest of your day. Thanks everyone.